Now when you come and find issues like habitat fragmentation, invasive species, zoonotic diseases, these things cannot be fought with guns.
No.
Now you need technical ability.
Expertise,
But
yeah.
we have not reformed KWS since 1989.
The Big Conservation Lie is a book that unveils the dark truths that, encounter the conservation space here in Kenya. And today I'm joined with Dr. Ogada for this discussion. My name is Jeremiah Moore, the project's coordinator at African Environmental Youth Advisory. So, Dr. Ogada, welcome to this discussion.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Very well. So, you wrote this book co-authored with your friend Mbaria, and it unveils quite a lot of truths that are happening in the conservation space in our country, to be specific. And deriving from chapter 5, I have a question, and this comes in how you wrote about the different stakeholders from the Kenya Wildlife Service in Kenya, and specifically Dr. Kipngetich, who really brought in reforms in the conservation space for quite some period in his service at the commission. And once he was out, conservation took a different trajectory in the country, and it actually depreciated. So this leads to the question of, why do you think Kenya still struggles to build a strong conservation leadership structure and system, and what needs for it to be a long-term success?
Yeah, I think we need to. First of all, there's a lot of skilled and knowledgeable conservation people in Kenya. Whether you talk about policy, whether the biology management, skilled people, knowledge about birds, reptiles, whatever.
Yeah.
It's because we have steadfastly refused to to become transparent and competitive and professional in the management, in the top management of conservation. And
Yeah.
look at the origins of KWS. When Richard Leakey was tapped by Moi to sort of reform the game department, create KWS and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the constitution then. Moi just picked him. Come and do this. I've given you the power. Create it in your own image, how you want, whatever. And he did. The reason we suffer now is that, remember, he was given all the power to create it. But this is someone who did not finish high school.
Yeah.
So how much knowledge was this creation based on?
Yeah.
Right? So, and back then, poaching was rampant. There was a war to be fought against poachers.
Yeah.
And to his credit, Leakey fought that war and won. But he only knew how to fight. Like he was like a general. He knew how to raise funds for guns, train people, equip them, and send them out to go fight poachers.
Yeah.
Now when you come and find issues like habitat fragmentation, invasive species, zoonotic diseases, these things cannot be fought with guns.
No.
Now you need technical ability.
Expertise,
But
yeah.
we have not reformed KWS since 1989.
All right.
That is now what? Going nearly 40 years ago, 36 or so years ago.
Yeah.
And you see the advent of Julius Kipngetich some years ago. I said that was luck. That was luck because we haven't been recruiting competitively. It's just ad hoc, handpicked. This. So they picked Dr. Kipngetich. Dr. Kipngetich is an expert in management, business administration, etc. So he brought his management skill in, and it improved the structural management of KWS, organizational management of KWS as an organization.
Yeah.
The management of ecosystems and wildlife, he didn't contribute to that because he didn't have those academic resources.
Yeah.
And going forward, obviously he left. But you see, after he left, there was William Kiprono.
Yeah.
He was just a county commissioner. He was picked and put in there. And there have been other people since then. And I think it's never, to this day, as we speak,
Yeah.
director of KWS has never been competitively and properly recruited. I had a personal experience with this because someone persuaded me,
Yeah.
probably against my better judgment, to apply for when they advertised for Director General 2018.
Yeah.
And I applied. And
How's the experience?
they went through the shortlisting. We were shortlisted. It ended up with a shortlist of 4 names. I was one of those.
All right.
And I was called when I was in the field. I was called to come for an interview the next day in Nairobi. So I rushed back from Amboseli to Nanyuki to pick up my certificates. And between the time we were called for that interview and that evening, as I prepared everything, the 9 o'clock news, there was an announcement that some senior officer from Kenya Navy called Brigadier Waweru was appointed Director General.
And the interview scheduled to happen
No,
tomorrow.
the interview, that was all scrapped.
Wow.
And Waweru, as a military guy, knew nothing about wildlife management. KWS went further down the tubes. He was removed when the present government took over.
Yeah.
The director of wildlife, Dr. Erastus Kanga, then director of wildlife, Dr. Erastus Kanga, was put in as acting. And at some point just got confirmed. He's now the Director General. So for all those years, count those decades, we have never reformed KWS from the structure created by this Form 3
Dropout.
Richard Leakey. And from those over 33 decades, we have not had a competitive recruitment.
Yeah.
In fact, it's something of a miracle that KWS actually functions. If you are talking about a bank or something, there's no organization that can function like that.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's probably to the credit of their law enforcement and uniformed staff that it functions. At policy level, they're nowhere. Yeah. So I think that's one of the... We've been running on luck, and now the luck is sort of running out because there are serious problems. Now we have capitalists wanting our parks.
Yeah.
We have capitalists using NGOs to infiltrate our conservation systems. We have capitalists wanting to control our water. Remember, like Nairobi Water Fund is controlled by the Nature Conservancy.
Yeah.
This is from Abadeas. We have an NGO currently fencing Mount Kenya. That's the second most important water catchment. It's currently being fenced by Rhino Arc. And we have carbon credits. So that's why we are so vulnerable. And all these international capitalists wanting to take over natural resources are targeting Kenya because it's a policy vacuum. Yeah.
That needs to be filled.
Yes, and or grabbed, otherwise grabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.